Don't say anything bad about the government, which of course we've now corrected to it's okay because you can say something bad against the black president that we have. But we're told not to question our country because we're the best country in the world, which is patently false on multiple levels. But don't say anything bad, because then you're not a patriotic American. Don't prophesy against Israel.
Do you have any cookies?
And yet, as people of God, we have to speak the truth. America is in serious trouble. Our world is in serious trouble. And it's not because there's some group of bad guys out there looking to get us all. ISIS is not our problem. If you're a black man in Georgia, it's not ISIS that's got to worry you. It's the cop who pulls you over. It's the good old boys with their sheets who come up on the crossing their line. Boko Haram does really bad things. But if you're in Minnesota and you're a black man pulled over by the cops, Boko Haram is not your problem. Our problem is that we don't know who our neighbor is anymore. So we have to speak truth to power, and truth to power has to be, we are neighbors. And if all lives are going to matter, we have to treat each other like we are neighbors. So that when a young black man or a young black boy is hurt, we step in and say, that's my neighbor, you can't do that. You can't do that to my neighbor. So when a woman is assaulted by a loved one or a stranger, and it's most often not somebody they know, we have to say, that's not okay. We don't treat women like that because that's our neighbor. When Syrian refugees, desperate for life outside of the violence, come off of boats and land in Greece and need a place to go because they're overrun there too, we have to open our doors and say, come in, you're our neighbor. When Palestinians are abused and killed and discriminated against, we have to say, that's our neighbor. And we have to say it over and over again. We have to say it until we get it. And here's the really hard part. And this is the part I always hate preaching. When the good old boy with a beer in one hand and the shotgun in the other is so afraid of losing his white privilege that he acts out like an idiot. He's our neighbor too. And he's not going to stop acting like an idiot until he gets that we're neighbors. And that's hard. That's hard. Because it's way easier to just say, you know what, we don't need to deal with those people. But do we want it to change? Because if we do, if we want it to change, if we want all lives to matter, then he's got to be our neighbor too. And we got to love him too, as hard as that is. As hard as that is. And I have a redneck family, so trust me, I know how hard it is. From first-hand experience. It can be infuriating. And you know, I'm of that progressive bent that's been with us for well over a century now. It says, you know, if they just know enough, they'll stop this. And there's part of me that says, oh, please let that be true. If we just let them know this, you know, they'll figure it out. No, sometimes no. No. Information doesn't always change people's minds. In fact, we have studies now that tells us that For people with a really conservative authoritarian bent, the more information you give that's counter to their view, the more they dig their heels in. Because they'd rather believe the lie and the drama. Having seen that operate as well, it's crazy making, and yet it's true. So information isn't always going to do it. Showing them statistics that show how much more likely a black man is to die than a white man with the police is not going to convince everybody. But there is something that works. It's a whole lot harder than data, and it's a whole lot harder than statistics. There is something that works. We have to love them. We have to love them until the end. Until love overcomes hate. And sometimes it seems like it's taken way too long. But we don't get to give up. We don't get to give up. When Amos faced all kinds of garbage from the powers that be, he didn't get to give up. We speak truth to power today, and the truth is, we are in trouble as a people. We have to stop killing our black brothers and sisters for the color of their skin. We have to stop saying that women don't matter because they're just tools for men. We have to stop saying that we can do whatever we want to children because they're young. We have to love.